Welcome to DADI SOS. I'm Xiao-Cai.
I'm Belinda.
We are here at Luckley House School with Mr. Dave.
Hi, my name is Mr. David Rose. I'm the head of boarding here at Luckley House School. So it's my job to oversee all of the boarding staff and all of the boarding students and make sure that they're having as good a time as possible. They're enjoying their boarding and they're enjoying their schoolwork.
Yeah, just now Mr. Dave had brought us to have a look at the boarding house, and how school to achieve aim of provide a warm and supportive home for boarders.
As you know that the students is home away, probably the parents will be worried about.
They are very
and then
young.
Well, I think first and foremost is we're lucky here. We've got a really good staff, really good amount of staff as well. So we've got 5 permanent members of staff working in boarding. So every evening we've always got at least 3 staff on. So it's a really good ratio. I think the biggest thing for anybody who works in boarding is if you work in boarding, it has to be a job that you want to do, that you enjoy, because it is long hours. So you have to really be invested in making sure that all of the students are having as good a time as possible. Working in boarding is not for everybody. So it really has to be staff that really want to see that students thrive all of the time. So I think that's one of the most important points. And it's learning to listen to the boarders, learning to understand when they're down.
Yes.
Maybe you can pick them up, just seeing actually how they are and actually being able to read somebody. I think it's really important in boarding sometimes to work out, to be able to adapt, so that when you have a day where, like today, it's raining, it might be cold, the boarders are all tired, and so maybe a change of the routine is something that they really need. Maybe just okay, I'll tell you what we're going to do tonight. We're just going to do a film and have hot dogs and popcorn, and just doing different things at different times so that they don't feel that it's just the same things every single day. Yeah, so it's learning to read them. So food is really important for them as well, making sure that we're so lucky here. The food is fantastic. But at weekends and things, we try as much as possible to do barbecues. We have an outdoor pizza oven as well. So things like that for the boarders just make it more special, and it brings them together as well. So that's something that we really enjoy doing.
Some of the staff have to be, as a staff, as a parents, you have to be their teachers,
best friends.
Yeah, you have to listen to them. You have to know when to have a joke with them, when to have fun.
Yes.
But you also need to learn to know when you need to actually be strong with them and say, no, you can't do this. That's not acceptable, and that's why, because we're here to help them grow. So they are young. They're young adults. They're still learning, and people do get things wrong from time to time, and that's our job to make sure that we're showing them the right ways and the correct ways to do things.
How many boarders in total?
So in total, in terms of weekly and full boarders, at the moment we have about 25, and then plus we have flexi boarders. So most evenings we have about 35 students who are.
Actually, it's quite stressful to handling so many boarders.
I'm used to having more. But the thing that's so good about Luckley is we've got really nice, as I said, ratio of staff to students. We've got such a nice boarding house. It's a really perfect number that we've got at the moment. Weekends we have 10 or 11 in, so it means we can do some really fantastic trips out. All the boarders get along and really enjoy each other's company as well. So that's really good.
You know, some students will feel like homesick. Then when weekend they have activities, they will like refuse to join the activities. Will they? Yes. Will have this kind of students?
At the weekends or?
Weekends or weekdays.
So in the weekdays, we don't make the activities compulsory, because some students want to do some extra work, some want to just relax in their rooms. Yes. But we do have one activity a week in the weekdays that we say everybody has to do. And that's so that we can get all of the house together, we can have that, try and get a really good camaraderie, a good spirit in the house, everybody joining in together. So we do that, that's once a week, but then apart from that, it's very optional.
But I think the compulsory events will make like everyone be together, and then not
the
really
sense
like
of belongings.
Yeah. No, we try, and when we have the whole activity for everyone, we'll do something that is everyone can do. So we'll do. So for example, my activity in a couple of weeks' time is I'm going to do something which is I've not done before. It's a bit strange, but we're going to line all of the students up in pairs, and they each have a canvas, and they've got to paint the person opposite them.
Oh.
So that's going to be the activity, and then we can see how everyone paints the other person, and then we can put them all up on display. So we just try and do very, very different things like that for activities, just to keep them engaged. You know, a quiz is always a great one to do.
Students will get closer as well.
Yes, and that's the idea of it. Is the more harmony you can have, the better atmosphere in the boarding house. It means that the students have a better time, and for staff, we enjoy it more. It's probably the best way to say.
Besides of this kind of activities, if there are students comes to you and say, Mr. Dave, I really miss my mom and dad very much. What is your method to help them?
Well, I have to say, one of the best things to do if that's the case is that's where I turn to Bert, and he's my dog, and he's lived his entire life in boarding houses. So he is fantastic in terms of bringing him out and getting him to just sit with the students. The students love it when he comes out into the common room and just comes and sits with them. So that's a very good calming thing in a lot of cases. But again, it's just learning to listen to the students and remembering that although you have to make sure that you treat everyone the same, alongside that you have to understand every student is different and they are individuals, and it's trying to understand how best each student ticks, how each student kind of responds to different, because one student will respond to humour, and if you take the mickey out of their shoes or their coat, whereas another student actually just needs you to listen and talk to them. So I think you have to adapt to every single student.
Have to be very patient to each student.
Yes, absolutely.
Do you have any interesting story happen in the boarders' house?
Like you
to
met
share?
some students like really miss their papa and mama.
Oh,
then they
yeah,
cry
yeah.
to
All
go.
day.
Yeah, you have. There's some of them, and that's actually a lot of the time it is the dog. It's their dog that they're missing, and that's why, because Bert he's a 𝐿𝐴𝐵, so he's a very fluffy individual, but he's he's not a he's just very, very chilled out dog. So he does work. He does work very well. But yes, some students miss home. Others.
How about they said, I really miss some food from my home country, but I couldn't find it in Luckley House.
This is a bit hard, right?
Yeah, we're quite lucky actually, because Reading is not far away, and Reading is very multicultural. So there are most foods that people can get, and even in the local town, 𝐋𝐮𝐤𝐤𝐿, there's a really, really good Asian supermarket. So lots of our students will go there to buy treats and things.
Yeah, we went Reading a few days ago. I think that's quite international stuff there. So by talking this, international students, like in their home country, they probably live in their own house, right?
Yeah.
And then when they transfer to boarding, is there any like their parents concerned about quite a lot of things, or any feedback from the parents?
I think a lot of the parents, when the students go home, I've often had comments from parents of, oh wow, she's learned how to load a dishwasher properly now. so some of
They become very good kids.
It's some of the things that we say, well look, no, this is your kitchen in the evening. If you're using things, you need to clean them, wash them up, put them away. And so we often have those comments from parents of, oh, thank you.
The parents must be very happy.
They've come back now.
Regret to send their kids come out to the boarding house anymore.
Because previously they just tend to be a potato couch potato, just lying on the bed, doing nothing.
And in house they have papa, their mama, some they have maid to do it everything. They just like, I want food, then the food will serve them.
In front of them.
Yeah, and I think we're lucky that it's very quickly that they will understand how the boarding house works, and I think as well, credit to the staff that we have in boarding, that the students very, very quickly work out that the staff are here to help them and to do their best for them.
I see the advantages also, like the borders is not too much and not too less, so a part of they can make friends. The staff can more like concentrate for each border.
And we because of the numbers we've got, and I think the numbers we've got are perfect for a school of our size. What it does mean is that some people always think, if you go into boarding, you want as many students there as possible as a parent. Actually, the amount of the borders that we have is the perfect number, because not only is there enough other students for them to make friends with, but it also means that as a staff, nobody falls through the cracks. So if you work in a very, very big boarding school, it's very easy to have some students that you just don't monitor and you don't see because there's so many. Whereas here, we can monitor every student really, really carefully and make sure that they're getting the most out of their time in boarding at Luckley, and they're actually getting everything they can out of it.
And even maybe the staff also can't remember all the boarders' names.
Yes, yeah, which takes about 2 weeks. That's what I always say to the boarders when they first come. I said, just keep telling me your name, because I'm at a certain age now where it doesn't stay in as it should do. So but as soon as you've learned them all, and actually you learn them all as well, because they're all different individuals. The boarders we've got at the minute, genuinely, every single student is really nice.
But students need time to like be more comfortable, but staff and teacher also need some time to recognize them, memorize them, and then know more about them. Like each part will need time to like. And
everyone comes with a different story, and everyone, it's nice to work out where they come from, what their interests are, what makes them happy, what makes them sad. And again, that's, like I said at the start, you have to really be wanting to be involved in boarding. Boarding is such a fantastic job in terms of job satisfaction, but it requires you to work lots of hours to do that, and so you have to be really invested. And the staff we have here they love what they do, so that's so good for me as the head of boarding.
Passionate is the first important thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just now, Mr. Dave has mentioned that students need to keep their phones in the office while they having their class, and also they can't back to their rooms during the class, right?
No. So once they leave their rooms in the day at 8:30 for the start of the school day, to be honest with you, they don't need to come back to their rooms unless they're in year 13, when they can come and go as they please, because the school day is so busy. And obviously at lunchtime they've got to eat, etc., etc. Unless they've left something in their room and they desperately need it, one of my staff or myself will go and get it for them. But they then come back to the boarding house at 4:00.
So parents actually no need to be worried that they're actually away from home and they have much more freedom to do other stuff.
And when they come back at 4:00, that's the end of the school day. They can then take part in one of the enrichment activities that the school runs. So the school runs a series of clubs from sort of 4:00 until 5:30. So they can do that, or quite often they will just go into town. They love a walk to Tesco's, which is the local supermarket. That seems to be a big one for them. But it's nice for them because they can get off site. They can go and buy themselves some treats if they want to. And even though they're so well catered for here as well, they still like to cook things in the evening about 8:30, because they're growing children.
As I have no boarding experience before that, because I always studied in my home country, I'm quite curious about, is there anything that can't do in the boarding house?
That they can't do? They can't do, off the top of my head, as long as obviously they speak to us and nothing specific springs to mind that they can't do. That at weekends we're very relaxed with them. They generally, at the moment, they're really enjoying watching films. The weekend we've got a huge TV on the wall that they put Netflix through, and they watch that. But in terms of they can't do, no, really, the only thing is obviously phones overnight in the weekdays. They have to hand their phones in there.
What if they need alarms?
So, there are two ways that they can do that. They all have an alarm clock that we provide that goes into their room.
Okay.
And they have 2 alarm calls by staff every morning.
Morning call.
Yeah. So 8:00 is breakfast. So they have a morning call at 7:40, and then at 7:20, and a second one at 7:40.
They have no excuses for them to
No
sleep
excuses
late.
whatsoever. and we take phones in overnight for years 7 to 11. Sixth form are allowed to keep them, but we take them in, and it's purely to ensure that they're not up all night on their phone, and that they're getting the most out of the next day. That they're well rested, they're not tired, and that they're focused on their academic studies.
They have actually no chance to addict to the phones or social media, because their phones is always with Mr. Dave.
Yes, we appreciate we appreciate how important phones are to youngsters, and we obviously promote them to use them properly, but also we want to promote them getting a good night's sleep. We won't, we don't have them. We ask them to put them away when, for example, they're eating their meals, so that they're then talking to each other and actually having a conversation. And so from things like that, again, it's really important.
How if there is emergency call from their parents?
So parents will get, from when they first come, they will also get phone numbers for staff phone, so my work phone and the housemaster's work phone, and also obviously they have email as well.
Oh.
So they can contact them at any. They can contact us at any point.
So if they can reach their child, they can reach to you.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Because for boarding, right, actually it's quite stereotype. Like boarding is it's a quite traditional way. Like a lot of regulations, students can't do this, can't do that. But today we walk around. I think still okay. The vibe is good, and then the phone contract I think is quite okay, because teenagers
acceptable.
Nowadays is very
addicted
with
the reason that we have it is the only reason that we have it. Is for the best thing for them. It's what we feel is the best way for them to get the most out of their boarding experience.
Is there any students they're reluctant to pass their phone?
Yeah.
Will they prepare two phones?
And you always have students who are reluctant. You'll always have students who bring in a second phone and try to hand that one in. Okay, because they're children. That's what happens. That happens at every boarding school. But we find here that at the start they're very reluctant to hand their phones in overnight. But then they soon see that everyone else is doing it, and they soon actually realise the reasons why we do it is so that when they wake up in the morning, they've had a good night's sleep.
They have peer pressure as well.
Yeah,
all my friends hands up their phones, but
if
there's no point for me to have another phones.
And we, like I said, we only do it for that one reason. It's
because they also have their own tablet, right?
So they hand in their tablets as well, so all devices.
Really? Oh, I see. Actually, there's no way to run out.
It's and it's a very, very popular policy with parents.
Oh yeah. A lot of parents like this kind of like the rules.
Yeah.
I think this is one of the reasons that parents send their students to the boarding house.
Yeah, and boarding education has changed. It's not the sort of traditional, huge cold dormitories that you see. That it's essentially it's like a hotel for the students.
It's
totally like you've seen the rooms are fantastic here. Yeah,
you do your laundry.
No, the laundry's done for you. They're really well looked after. All their food's cooked for them. When I was sort of 12, 13, see, I never went to a boarding school. And when I was 12 or 13, the idea of going to boarding school I'd have been like, absolutely not. But then as soon as I've worked in boarding, you suddenly realise actually what a fantastic way to live and to get an education, because it's totally not what perhaps I thought it might have been when I was that age. But having worked in boarding now for 22 years, it's everything that they need is provided for them. So it is a fantastic way to learn and to meet new people.
Yeah, students get very focused on their studies as well, because their timetable is already fixed. They go to class on time, they go on to bed on time.
Yeah, and they have as well in the evenings, we run an hour of homework every night. So they have a homework session with staff as well to help them, so that they're sat down focused doing their homework every evening, well, Monday to Thursday.
Boarding can make students more focused on their studies.
100%, yeah.
That just now, Mr. Dave mentioned that you have worked for boarding house 22 years.
Yes.
What makes you be so passionate with that?
I just really enjoy it. I really enjoy
to be a father.
I really enjoy just in the morning seeing the boarders. Morning, how are you? Having a really nice response back. I really enjoy seeing them come in as young children and then leaving as young adults, having sort of really grown and learned everything and success. And I think probably the biggest thing actually is sort of the most sort of because one of the things that you mentioned to me earlier was unforgettable things in boarding, and actually it's probably for me it's the unforgettable is actually the amount of students that I haven't forgotten about that still contact me through social media, etc., that I've had in my boarding house for 4 or 5 years.
That's so lovely.
And they come back and they contact me all the time because in sort of being nice, actually, that I feel, they feel that I had their best interests at heart. And so to still be in contact with so many students, some now that have got their own children, is fantastic.
Wow.
Yeah,
22
it's
years
fantastic.
can be, 22
Yeah,
years can be,
yeah.
can be.
And then they send their children to Luckley House again.
So then you could, but yeah, I haven't had
Haven't yet,
haven't
right?
had yet. No,
I think
not
coming
yet.
soon.
No, that's when I will really feel old, I think. But it's so I think from that point of view, that's probably the biggest thing in boarding is just the amount of students that I still am in contact with that contact me and
Yeah.
Actually, after a look around the border house, I feel like staying here as well.
They are very well looked after, and hopefully you'll get to sample some of the food at lunch
The room
because the
is
food is very good.
Wow, so
Actually,
very
work
comfy.
work as a boarding staff, right? Actually, you have a stronger relationship with the students.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Do you cry before when you have a student leave?
I think the students will be crying a lot, rather than Mr. Dave.
I have cried once. Yes.
Really?
I have cried once, and the reason I cried is because a group of leaving parents clubbed together and bought me this watch to say thank you. And when they gave it to me,
The students stay in the boarding house quite long, is it?
yeah. And so when they did, yeah, that was when my my macho image was destroyed.
Unforgettable memories for your whole career.
So that was that was the one time.
Well, I never thought of this. I thought students were crying a lot rather than Mr. Dave.
No, but you have to remember that some of these students you can have 5 years,
Yes.
and you're seeing them all the time, and they come in as a
They're seeing
sort of
their
here, and then they
parents
leave.
less.
And then actually teenagers is the period like people grow like become an adult.
Yeah.
Child to be an adult. So it's a tough journey, and then it's a memorable journey.
Yeah, and I think they by the time they leave as well, they know that actually all the staff are here to look after them and doing it for the right reasons. Even if sometimes maybe they didn't agree with a decision or a rule, actually they get to that point where they look back and go, actually, yeah, I can see why that was, they're here for our best interests. So, and that's really, really important. Like I say, it's really important that the students can see that you're here doing it for them.
Feels like teacher and also friends, good friends for the students.
Yeah, care worker, social worker, confidant, social life organizer, taxi driver.
It's a very
lots.
tough.
There are lots of things.
The job scope. Oh my God.
Do you have any tips to share to the international students who is coming to Luckley?
I think the biggest thing when you come here is get involved in as much as you can. Make the most of your opportunities, because not everybody has the opportunity to board. Yes. And it's so important that you actually get involved in as much as you can. You meet as many people as you can, because you're going to make friends for life, and it's really important. Like I said, not everyone gets the opportunity to board and come here, and there's so much that you can do here at Luckley. It's such a lovely part of the world. The school grounds are lovely. It's a really, really nice place to live.
How about student who is very introvert, very shy?
You have to step up, right? You have to step out your
out of your comfort zone. Yeah,
zone.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. You've got to you've got to come over and be prepared to actually get involved in things perhaps that you haven't before, because that's why that's what we provide so many things here and opportunities that you would be foolish to not take them.
Is there anything that you want to advise the boarders that something that you might have to bring, but something you don't really have to bring to the boarding house?
I think the biggest thing that
Toys, maybe.
I think the biggest thing actually that you need to bring, is definitely your favourite teddy, but is also, this is going to sound really boring, but make sure you label all your clothes. That's the big thing, because obviously when all your washing is done, it's really, really important that you get all your own your clothes back and your favourite jumper back. And
Later you say, where's my favourite jumper? No more anymore.
So I think that's really important, and probably the other one actually is photos.
Photos?
Yeah, photos of your family and things like that, because it's
with
nice
your
when
pets.
students put them up, and that it just so it reminds them of home. And when I'm going around, and that, I quite like seeing them in the bedrooms. It's quite nice just to see photos, and because it paints you a picture of home life for the student.
How about some brothers, they'll bring like their first day they come inside. Will they bring like toilet paper, like the mop? Will they bring this?
They don't know. They don't need to bring all of that. No, it's some turn up with one suitcase, some turn up with 3 suitcases and the size of me. Some of the suitcases they're huge. So I don't know how they actually got them here in the first place. But yeah.
Okay. Thanks for the tips, Mr. Dave. I think that's all for today. Thanks for your time, Mr. Dave. And if you like this episode, please like and share and subscribe to our channel.
Yeah, we'll see you next time.
Okay, bye.
Thank you.